Good morning. You're in the loop. Every week we talk with the people who make San Antonio a better place to live. Thanks for joining us in the loop. Here's your host, Milton Glick.
And welcome to In the Loop. That's exactly what we do. We get you caught up with the people and the organizations that make San Antonio a better place to live. The only difference between what we said on that little intro and this is every year. This is amazing. I wonder how many years it's been. We talked to this man who makes a difference and the organizations that he helps. It's Howie Nestel. His name is synonymous with Gotcha Covered. 2004 is the, what annual one is this one?
28th.
Oh, 28th. Holy cow. Wow.
Almost 3 decades. And I remember you being involved in the media from the very beginning. Do you remember that at all?
I don't. Well, not from the very, very, very beginning,
No.
but pretty soon.
Pretty
because,
close,
you
right?
got me involved pretty quickly.
Because I remember coming to a radio station
Yeah.
and doing an interview with you.
Yeah. Oh, I gotta share this with you. Then we're gonna get to some facts here. Rummaging through stuff, doing some cleaning. I found an old T-shirt, an old Gotcha Cover T-shirt, and I think the year goes back to the early 2000s. So
I need a picture with that.
yeah, I'll have to send you a picture of it.
Send me
All
a
right.
picture. I don't have T-shirts from every year. We made them every year for the volunteers. And every year we change the color. We change the branding a little bit. The logo, of course, we put what year it is. And but I have a good number of them. I have probably 15 or 18 of the 27, now 28 shirts.
All right, so we're going to get into the what in just a second, or the why in just a second. But what is Gotcha Covered? 28 years of doing this. What is this, Howie?
Very simply, it is a one-day collection drive serving San Antonio's most needy in terms of people who may have been homeless or currently are homeless, people who are served by the food bank. And this is a way for the community to come together, donate new and gently used clothing items, new toiletries, and non-perishable food items. One day, December 1st, at Park North Shopping Center on Blanco Road and Loop 410, kind of near the Target in Park North Shopping Center. And then we fill up 3 truckloads full of donations. Last year, 65,000 pounds of donations.
Whoa.
So very generous San Antonians. And we're a conduit. Those trucks then go to the nonprofits, Haven for Hope, Battered Women and Children's Shelter, and the San Antonio Food Bank. And then we deliver all of the goods to their warehouses, and that's on Sunday, December the 1st. Monday, December the 2nd, they start to distribute it.
That's so cool. And actually, kind of with my story, too, this is a good time because I think, people are kind of going through stuff, making room for stuff. So chances are they've got, especially in the clothing area, the winter clothes are coming out. They may have some clothes that just, I don't know, but they could sure help somebody.
Or they fit, but then after Thanksgiving they didn't fit.
Oh.
And so then you want to donate them. But they didn't fit after Thanksgiving because they worked out throughout the Thanksgiving break and they lost so much weight that now the clothes is too big. Right?
There you go. That's positive.
I always say new and gently used, but realistically, almost all used clothing works. Certainly nothing with holes,
right?
Nothing with stains, those kinds of things. But other than that, we'll take them because there are so many people, families who are staying at Haven for Hope and Battered Women and Children's Shelter that need clothing for men, women, and children. And so they can use everything we can give them. Even shoes. So tennis shoes, dress shoes, sandals, those kinds of things. Work shoes, for sure, work shoes. And shoes go a long way. 2 years ago, I was at Haven for Hope, and I was really surprised. They only had a few dozen pair of socks. And so we went out and bought, I think, 400 pair of socks to kind of replenish their shelves.
Yeah, and so socks are things we don't want if they're used.
Correct. Yeah.
But they are in high demand. Socks and underwear, undergarments, things like that.
You must have done this before because
I have.
know those, the number
you made
one
an impression on me.
Number 1 and number 2 items, socks and underwear.
Yeah, so when you're running around doing Christmas shopping early or doing whatever, I guess Black Friday will be before your event.
It will be. It will be.
Just pick up 2 extra packets of these items, and then on Sunday,
December the 1st,
right,
9 a.m. to 3 p.m., on a little street called Rector, which runs between San Pedro and Blanco Road along Target, kind of between Target and Taco Cabana. Taco Cabana's on San Pedro. Target is closer to Blanco on that little street called Rector, just 1 block inside of Loop 410. Inside the Loop.
There you go.
How's that?
Nice
For a
job.
reference, right?
Yeah.
And I have 40 or 50 volunteers who will unload your donation. Each of the nonprofits will have a representative there, Haven for Hope, Food Bank, and Battered Women and Children's Shelter, and they will actually write you a receipt if you want to write your donation off on your taxes. So let's say you clear out your closet, Milton, and you have 6 bags of clothing. They're going to ask you, what's the estimated cost of the donation of the items? And you'll say $350. They'll write you a receipt for $350, and next year you can take a write-off on your taxes.
Yeah, it's super simple. I've driven up before. Someone comes, helps you, grabs the stuff from the car, writes you a receipt, thanks you, and it's so easy and feels so good.
Yes.
To be a part of the event, to be a part of helping these people, to be a part of Got You Covered. And I do bet you see the same people every year.
I do see a lot of people. It's an annual tradition. And then leading up to the event, I run into people all the time. They say, I'm clearing out my mom's closet. I got all of my kids' clothing ready. I can't wait till December 1st. So I get a lot of that. People tell me this, that they look forward to it, and they're saving their stuff so they can donate it on that day.
Yeah. Our guest today on In the Loop, Howie Nestel, as it relates to this, one of the founders of
Yes.
I've Got You Covered. This is the 28th annual. Give a little commercial for it, and then we'll get into some more of the backstory.
28th annual Got You Covered collection drive. You can learn all about it at gotchacovered.org, GOTCHA covered.org. You can follow us on social media. We take all of the donations. 100% of everything we collect goes directly to the people who need it most right here in San Antonio. And those are the people who are served by the Food Bank, Battered Women and Children's Shelter, and Haven for Hope.
All right, so there's so many places to go. Gotchacovered.org is the website, and you'll find out all the stuff. There's a big countdown clock on there. It's really cool, and you'll find out what they need. You'll find out about the organization, see videos, all kinds of cool stuff. So the question I have for you, Howie, is you got to help me. Where do you want to go from here? Do you want to talk about how it all got started? Do you want to talk about some of your favorite stories from Got You Covered? What you want to do?
All right, let's mix it up a little bit.
All right, we're going to mix it up.
And I'll tell you some stories that the recipients.
I'd love that.
Okay, so we had a few years ago, and you talked about the videos on the website, and that video is on there. A woman who moved down here from the Northeast, I think from the Chicago area, and she was being physically and mentally abused by her husband. And the day her youngest child got accepted to college and left the house was the day she packed a suitcase. And she came from a nice home. She drove in her Mercedes to the airport, had heard how great of a service Battered Women and Children's Shelter does here in San Antonio, and she needed to get out of her state. So she picked San Antonio randomly, had never been down here, flew down here and checked herself in. Everything, of course, is pro bono, and she moved into the Battered Women and Children's Shelter and went through her rehab there, both therapy and job training, etc. And when we went to interview her, she said that she showed up with a small suitcase of things that she could pack and get out of the house quickly before her husband got home. And she said that all the nice clothes that she has and what she was wearing that day and the purse and the nice jewelry, not gold, but inexpensive jewelry, but and the scarf she was wearing, everything that she had on came from Got You Covered.
Is that
and
right?
So she said, this is my way of paying it forward. So she said, I wanted to do an interview and I wanted to talk about what an impact that made, because I got here not knowing anybody and not having very much, and all of a sudden she said I had a closet full of nice clothing and shoes and purses and those kinds of things.
Yeah, and we can go over some more of the stories and give the impact, but that's not surprising, because you have dozens of stories about people who are being served by this organization who had Got You Covered not done the drive that year or whatever, their lives would not have changed like they did because Got You Covered had the drive.
All right. We met a family, a mom and a daughter, who had never even been close to being homeless. But during the pandemic, the mom got COVID. The dad was not in the picture. And the daughter was 12 years old, and the mom lost her job because she got COVID, and she stayed out of work for so long. She had a long COVID or symptoms for a long time. So she lost her job. She couldn't afford to continue to pay her rent, and her they were evicted. And so they lived in their car, and they stayed near the child's school, and they lived in the car, and then the child continued to go to middle school. And then eventually it just got too difficult, so they ended up going to Haven for Hope. And we met them at Haven. And Haven helped them get back on their feet. She got a job. She has a car. And so they got a place to live. And so we interviewed them right before they left Haven for Hope. And she told the story. And again, that story can be found at gotchacovered.org, that we have that video of the mom and the daughter. And it's very touching to hear a 12-year-old talking about what it was like to be homeless and how much Haven for Hope helped them, and how she appreciated all the clothing and the tennis shoes and the stuff that she got through Gotcha Covered.
All right. Do you got a San Antonio Food Bank story, the third organization you help? You talked about Battered Women and Children's Shelter, Haven for Hope. Do you have a food bank story?
I do.
Okay.
So
I knew the answer.
We were there to interview Eric Cooper from the food bank. He's the CEO and the executive director. And so while we were waiting for him, this lady came up wearing a kind of a jogging suit and nice tennis shoes. And she said, "Hey, what are you guys doing?" I said, "Well, we're shooting some videos for Gotcha Covered. It's a one-day collection drive that we do that benefits the food bank, and we collect a lot of non-perishable food items, and we bring them here all the time." And she goes, "Oh, that's so awesome." I said, "What are you doing here?" She said, "Well," she goes, "I came to volunteer and to help out and do some stuff because a year ago I got into a situation where I lost my husband, and then I couldn't sustain all or pay for all the expenses, and so my life became unsustainable, and I needed help with food. And while it was pretty embarrassing, I came here, and they made me feel so welcome, and I got food, and it got me through a tough time, and I was able to feed my kids. And so now that I'm back on my feet and I got that hand up, I want to pay it forward." And I said, "Can I get a video with you?" So again, these stories, we have tons of them on the Gotcha Covered website, gotchacovered.org. We also have them on the Gotcha Covered YouTube channel. So go and listen to some of these stories. I mean, these are your neighbors or my neighbors. These are people who need a hand up, not a handout. So if you think about it in the sense that we've all been at some point in our lives in a position where we need a hand up. And so when you're in a position to give one, this is one good opportunity, and there are many here in San Antonio, but it's one good opportunity to be able to give a hand up. And you can do it by bringing your new and used clothing and going and buying some food items, non-perishable. We talk about boxes of spaghetti and cans of spaghetti sauce and peanut butter and those kinds of things, and canned soups, canned meats, tuna, Spam, those kinds of things.
And I hadn't thought about baby food.
Baby food, very important.
Okay.
So a few years ago, there was some shortage of baby food, baby formula, those kinds of things. Thank God there's not a shortage now, but those things are still very much needed because they're expensive. You can also go buy diapers. Oh, that's one of the things we love getting. So the Battered Women and Children's Shelter, Haven for Hope, and the food bank all want diapers. They love them.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you get to do another quick commercial for Gotcha Covered.
All right. The 28th annual Gotcha Covered Collection Drive. One day only, ladies and gentlemen. That's Sunday, December the 1st, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at Park North Shopping Center. That's between Blanco Road and San Pedro, just inside Loop 410. Park North Shopping Center used to be called Central Park Mall. So this is the little street that runs in front of the Target all the way to San Pedro, where Taco Cabana is. And so we'll have 3 big box trucks and 50 volunteers from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., unloading on that day, Sunday, December the 1st, all of your donations. You don't even have to get out of the car. We put cones, you drive through, pop your trunk, we'll take everything out, we'll write you a receipt if you want one, you can write it off on your taxes, and you know that 100% of the items you donate stay right here in San Antonio and are going to be used by people right here in San Antonio. Nothing is shipped, nothing is resold. Yeah. It's all used by people who need these items the most.
Do you want to talk a little bit? And by the way, the website, again, gotchacovered.org is where you'll see the videos. You'll see all the information.
You can also go on social media to Gotcha Covered SA on Facebook and Instagram, and you'll find us there as well. So all the information is there. If
I go to the website, gotchacovered.org, will I find out information about how to volunteer?
Yes, you can volunteer. You'll fill out a little form on the website, or you can call me. I'm Howie Nestel. I'm the event organizer. My cell number is 210-286-3439. I'll repeat it, 210-286-3439, and say, I'd like to volunteer. My kid needs service hours. I'm not going to babysit him, but you can bring your kid and get service hours, but you're going to have to babysit her or babysit him. But they can come and help. It's very family friendly. It's also a good opportunity to bring your kids. If you have younger kids, bring them and have them donated. I see so many parents, they bring their kids, and their kids are carrying little bags, and the kids are donating it. And if I get a chance to see them, I thank them, and I also tell them that clothing or those new toys or the plush animals or whatever it happens to be are going to go to children who are currently without a home.
Yeah, and I imagine that makes it, for a child or a young adult, that makes it more real because their situation may be great. And so this may be distant, but now seeing that the toy that they donated, the clothing that they had, is going to, change a life of a peer, probably makes it a little closer to home.
Yes, and let me tell you how generous San Antonians are. So let's go back to the year 2020. I don't know if you remember, but there was some kind of pandemic happening, and a lot of people were working from home or maybe, walking their dogs from home and getting paid to do that by their companies. But restaurant business was down. Ordering out went up.
You're right.
But people weren't going out physically and doing stuff. And a lot of people were at home, and or if they went out, they wore masks and that kind of stuff. So I was thinking about suspending Gotcha Covered for that year because I thought, so many people are at home and nobody wants to get sick and those kinds of things. So I called the nonprofits. I said, hey, are you guys good with donations this year? They said, no, as a matter of fact, very few people have come to donate. And so we're really counting on Gotcha Covered this year. So coming on In the Loop with you and doing other promotion and direct mail and email blasts and all kinds of stuff. We had San Antonio's come out. It was not the biggest year we ever had, but one of the biggest. I mean, we had 80,000 pounds of donations, and we made masks with a Gotcha Covered logo on them for the volunteers. But if you think about it, it was a very COVID friendly event because everybody's outside, and they're pretty far from each other, and people are in their car. They didn't have to get out of their car, so it was kind of like pre-designed to be COVID friendly. But that's one of the things that makes me feel so proud about being a San Antonian. And well, I wasn't born here, but I got here as fast as I could. But having lived here for more than 3 decades now, I'm so proud to be part of this community because this community is very giving, very caring, very philanthropic, and they show it.
All right, so for people who just might have tuned in, let's go over the items that you're looking for Gotcha Covered December 1st, 9 to 3. I'm winging this here. Am I doing okay?
You're doing great.
Okay.
You're
over at
batting 1,000.
At Park North,
yes,
which is a block south on San Pedro or Blanco, a block south of 410. All right, so clothing. What do you need?
Okay, new and gently used pants, jeans, sweats. Okay?
Ooh, okay.
Jackets, sweatshirts, T-shirts, any kind of dresses, pantsuits, those kinds of things, even dress suits, even nice clothing for men and women, because some of the people at Battered Women and Children's Shelter and Hymn for Hope need nicer clothing to go out and do their job interviews. So that and then, of course, clothing for men, women, and children. So anything that doesn't fit, that's been in the closet for a while, that you bought, it might even have tags on it, and you never used it because that color's out. Bring it, and we'll use it.
Okay, so that's clothing. How about stuff for the food bank, the non-perishable food items?
Peanut butter, pastas, canned soups, canned meats, tuna, Spam, all those. Anything that will last a relatively long period of time. That's what we mean by non-perishable. So don't bring bread, don't bring tortillas, don't bring vegetables. Those things, they go bad pretty quickly. But things that will last for a while, we'll take them.
Okay, and the toiletries? These are new.
These are new toiletries. I did have somebody one time bring me probably 1,000 hotel shampoos and conditioners and soaps, but they were all new.
Yeah.
But they were small.
Perfect.
Nonprofit loved those.
Yeah, I bet.
I had a dentist, so any dentist listening, bring me a case of toothbrushes and a case of toothpaste.
Because they all have them.
Oh, they all have them because, Crest and Colgate, give these out for promotional use. And so we'll take cases of those. But if you want to go out and buy some, go buy a, 20, 30 pack of whatever, shampoos, soaps, toothbrushes, toothpaste, conditioner, those kinds of things. We'll use them. Feminine hygiene products, very important. So buy some boxes of those and bring them and donate them. And then, in toiletries and in that category, I include diapers. So diapers always great. Also, let's say, there's some people that are more sensitive to pets. They like pets more than they like humans. Sometimes I like my dog more than I like my kids. So buy some packages of dog food and cat food because at the shelters, at Haven for Hope and at Battered Women and Children's Shelter, they have kennels because there are a lot of people who are homeless that don't want to come to a shelter because they have a dog and they're out on the streets. And so they don't want to leave their dog out. So they now have kennels. So those kennels have dogs, and those dogs need food. So if you want to donate some dog food, you'd be doing some dogs a good service.
No, that's a great idea. And it's every year you come in and you bring that little tidbit that I just hadn't thought of. But for some of the homeless in San Antonio, that is their animal, their pet is their child. It's and it's what's keeping them alive. Honestly. All right, so quick the commercial, and then I have some more questions. But we're running out of time. This is flying by.
It is.
Got you covered. Let's see how I do. Sunday, December 1st, Park North. It's from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Howie mentioned some of the items they're looking for 3 organizations: Haven for Hope, the San Antonio Food Bank, and Battered Women and Children's Shelter. The website, gotchacovered.org. And online on Facebook, Gotcha Covered SA, on social media. And if you're interested in volunteering, they can go to the website or they can call you at
210-286-3439. 210-286-3439. Call Howie, and you're automatically in as a volunteer.
There you go. What are some other things? Actually, I can think of a few that if it touches their heart, that they can do. But from your experience, what are some more things people can do to be a part of this?
I had somebody buy 50 sleeping bags.
Ooh.
They drove by. They asked, "What are you doing here?" I said, "Well, we're collecting for people who are homeless that are staying at shelters." And he says, "Okay, well, I don't live in San Antonio, and I can't donate anything here, but I can certainly go buy something." I said, "Okay, great. Thank you so much." He didn't ask me what he should buy. So he bought sleeping bags. And at the time, Haven for Hope had an area where people could sleep outdoors but under a cover, and that was called the courtyard. They don't do it anymore. So when I showed up with 50 brand new sleeping bags,
oh my gosh, you were a hero.
Oh yeah, they love that. Yeah. So sheets, bedding, towels, those kinds of things, because a lot of people, while they might use them there at the shelter, they'll also give them to families who are getting rehomed, and so now they have a packet of stuff to take. So they have towels and they have sheets and bedspreads and covers and those kinds of things. And I think those go a long way as well. And
we're doing this early enough in the game. I'm just throw the suggestion out here. You can tell me if someone else has done it. But your church, your workplace, if you're hearing this and you want to do something as a group, you've got plenty of time. You just need to have it all together by December 1st. But yeah, as a group, you can send that memo out, that email saying we're collecting for Gotcha Covered.
That's a great idea. So let me tell you, I had 2 companies reach out to me. One is Rosenberg Air Conditioning.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. And so Michael reached out to me and said, "Hey, what can I do?" So they sent out an email blast to all their current and past customers promoting Gotcha Covered.
What a great idea.
The wash tub every year sends out an email blast to way north of 100,000 customers. And then people show up. They said, "Oh, I got an email from the wash tub, and they said that you were going to be here, and we came to donate a bunch of stuff." So yes, churches, synagogues, mosques, get together. As a preacher said one time, you're coming to the sermon. This isn't the service. The service starts the minute you walk out those doors.
Oh.
So if you want to do the real service, then go to church early and then come right over to Gotcha Covered on that Sunday. We'll be there till 3 o'clock before you go to lunch and come and donate.
There you go. Got about a minute and a half. Close us down, Howie. This has been great.
All right. So we're talking about the 28th annual Gotcha Covered collection drive. It's a single-day collection drive where we take the 3 biggest nonprofits that serve probably the most number of people who are homeless or in need: Battered Women and Children's Shelter, Haven for Hope, and Sam Ministries. I mean, it's not Sam Ministries. They actually do a lot too. And they used to be a recipient.
Okay.
Yeah. And then so we, for reasons that we don't have time to get into, they're a great organization, but Haven for Hope kind of took their spot about 12 years ago. Anyway, we collect items for them, make it super easy for them so they don't have to do anything. We do all the marketing. We collect 70,000 pounds of these items, and then we deliver them to their warehouse on the same day. And we do this in a 6-hour period from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at Park North Shopping Center between Blanco Road and San Pedro on a little street called Rector. And that, if you go to the Target at Park North and go a little further towards San Pedro, you'll find us. If you go to Guitar Center or Taco Cabana on San Pedro and you drive towards the Target or towards Blanco and Rector, you'll see us. You'll see 40, 50 volunteers, 3 big box trucks, and we're collecting non-perishable food items, toiletries, new and used clothing, and we're put them in bags. It doesn't matter. Just put all the stuff in bags or boxes. We'll unload them from your car. We'll write you a receipt. You can take a discount on your taxes next year. And then we're going to take those items and give them to the people who need them most right here in San Antonio. Those are the ones who are going to use it. And you'll feel great. And then you can go on about the rest of your day.
There you go. It's all at gotchacovered.org for more information. Howie Nestel has been our guest, one of the founders and creators of the event, and still keeps it going. We appreciate that, Howie. So we'll say goodbye to Howie Nestel. Thank you for coming on. And I'm Milton Glick. If you didn't get some of that information, you call me here at the station. I'll get it for you. In the meantime, you be sure to join us next week as we keep you in the loop.
Thanks for joining us in the Loop. We look forward to bringing you next week's show with Milton Glick.